So we have some parts coming in the mail today, and I want to go ahead and clean this guy off before they come in, and I'm working on it tonight. I went ahead and hosed it down with some degreaser and Dawn dish soap and stuff like that. I had in a weed sprayer, and we're gonna power wash it off because I like working on junk, just not really greasy junk. It's looking a lot better. It's had time to dry over the course of the day. I went ahead and charged up the battery. I cleaned all the contact terminals. Trust me, they're a lot cleaner than what I started off with. I did have a blown fuse coming off the voltage regulator. I have figured out that the PTO switch is in fact bad. I figured that out by just trying to turn it on. There's something definitely wrong with it, and then like the whole thing just kind of spins around like that. I don't think that's very good. It seizes up, and when I tried to go ahead and turn it off and on, the motor would not turn over for me, and the PTO would not engage. So I got the best of both worlds right now. It does turn over sometimes, and as you can see, if I can get my spark plug here, I still have no spark. But the battery's holding a lot longer now that I've charged it for the second time. I do have a new coil coming in. I'm not sure this is a Kawasaki engine, but that's definitely the Briggs & Stratton logo. What did come in though is a new fuel pump and new fuel line. And from my maintenance kit that I bought that had the wrong air filter, which is my fault, I believe the oil filter will work, and it comes with a new fuel filter as well. It looks like that old diaphragm pump is working because this thing is slowly filling up with fuel. Slowly. But I'm going to go ahead and change it out because it was pretty cheap. It was only like 17 bucks on Amazon, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and take the cover off. It has like 4 or 5 bolts holding it down. This guy. There's one on the other side that you can kind of see, and then it also has one on, 2 of them on the back holding it down. So that's what I'm going to do next, because I'm going to go ahead and change out the fuel lines. The things that came in were, like I said, the new fuel pump. I got a new air filter. It's that guy right there. This is the fuel pump part number. It says here that's for a Gator, but I'm pretty sure they're all pretty much the same. And I got myself a box of fuel line, 1/4 inch fuel line. So that was pretty cool. I was This is all Amazon Prime stuff because I wanted to get this stuff as soon as I could. But we'll go ahead and take it apart. I made sure that the interlock switches were still working. The seat is it's still functioning. This is my counterweight, so that I've my third hand, if you will. And then the clutch or the brake. I can't. Pretty sure that's considered the clutch / brake pedal. It hits this little knob right here. So, like I said, I cleaned them all out. They're a lot better. It was pretty simple enough to get the body off the frame. I just had to go ahead and unscrew all the knobs and then just kind of wiggle it all out. The deck lowering lever just kind of slides right out there. But the gas tank kind of threw me for a loop, as I thought the fuel line came out the bottom, and it actually siphons it up over the top. And I think someone has worked on this before, because they've gone and sheared off the fuel cutoff switch. Oh well, I don't know how you're supposed to cut it off anyway. Another thing that's missing is the fuel vent line, so I'm going to have to see if that guy's maybe plugged or needs any work. But the neat thing is, it's not attached to anything. It's just kind of sandwiched in there. There's not a whole lot of fuel left in there, but it stinks. It's some of the worst gas that I've ever smelled, ever. So I'm going to take it outside and clean it off. I'll pour out the old gas, and then we can start running some new fuel lines. It looks like it's going to be a pretty simple straight run. I'll have plenty of the 25 feet left over after this. I was going to go ahead and put the body back on tonight, but I think I want to power wash this bad boy one more time now that I got this cover off, because there's pockets of dirt all over the place. I'm going to be doing some sweeping. I have no idea how I guess it just gets blown in there or something. I don't know. Another thing I forgot to share with you guys is that the drive belt has already been taken off, because whenever I went to inspect it, let's see if you can get a good view of it, the drive pulley has gone ahead and just rotted off. And I'll show that guy over here. I don't know if it's like the idler whenever you push the clutch in or what it was, but it's no longer with us anymore. It's in a better place. There was a couple things I had to take off to get that guy out. I think this was part of the clutch mechanism. So that's for a different night. That's if I get this guy running. Like I said, I'm just going to do the fuel system tonight. And tomorrow night I'm going to be doing the magneto, because that's whenever it comes in. So when that coil gets in, I'll go ahead and change it out, and hopefully we'll have spark. But in the meantime, I'm going to do the fuel lines, and then we're going to do the fuel pump, and then I'm going to clean the carburetor. Fuel tank has been drained, cleaned up. The inside, it's got a little bit of something in it. I'll just I'll hose it off whenever it gets light out. The fuel hose is done. It was a quick little routing. I taped it off the end because I am going to, like I said, power wash it. I'm going to clean it up one more time because it just doesn't feel right to wash the front and not the rear. The fuel lines, I even was able to save the little plastic holder chingus. And then I added one of my own, a little plastic bracket. The fuel line is on. The new fuel pump is on. The hose to the carb is ready to go back on. Now we're going to go ahead and clean up that carb. I was looking for a rebuild kit. Couldn't really find one that was going to show up on time. So I'm just going to go ahead and risk it and just take it apart. Hopefully the gaskets stay in one piece. There's still fuel in it, and it smells absolutely horrible. But we're going to get that cleaned up. I got a couple other pieces. That this elbow, I really didn't need to take it off, but I didn't know how this guy came apart. So we're going to need to, half the gasket's on this bracket and half the gasket's still on the block of the engine. I think I'm just going to clean it up and smear a little red RTV for right now, and see if this guy is even going to work. Don't want to spend any more money than I already have. Carb's all cleaned up and reinstalled. I did have to use a little RTV because this is the only gasket that was really ripped. I just made do with what I had, and we'll see how it works. The carb was not bad at all. There was a little bit of debris in the bowl, and it wasn't dirty by any means. I think it would have ran just fine. When I went to go ahead and reinstall this guy, I did notice one thing that was missing on the carb, and it's on the back side here. Right there, there's a yellow boot, and on the other side it seems to be some kind of maybe like a vacuum line, and the piece of 1/4 inch hose that gaps the two is probably only about an inch, maybe an inch and a half long. When I took it out, I did not have one in there, and for a little bit it was tripping me out because I thought I was missing some kind of, I was wondering why I wasn't closing that gap. It wasn't closing in, but I used a piece of fuel line. It's that black piece kind of right in there, and I made something work. I'm not exactly sure. This is where it goes into the air filter right there, and then if you follow it to the outside, right in there, it connects, and then it goes into a metal body, and that hose just slips and kind of gets sandwiched between the two pieces right there. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up and put it on, so that way it's nice and sealed up for whenever I do my power washing in the morning.